All right, guys, the next part of deadlifting that we're going to talk about is going to be creating tension, or some people call it the wedge. This is also going to kind of cover where our hips should be, where our shoulders should be, and just kind of overall starting position when we're trying to break that bar off the ground. Okay, so let's just talk about conventional start. But all of these principles are going to really carry on throughout all the variations, and that's kind of the important aspect of this series to keep in mind. There are a few little differences with sumo, but for the most part, all these principles hold true. So what we're gonna do is get in our setup, it's foot position, work on getting our hips back first, feeling hamstring tension. From this position, I can slowly start to bend my knees until I can kind of touch the bar. All right, just kind of with my fingertips. From this position, this is where I can reach hard just for my arms and not letting our torso position change. And this is how I'm going to create the most tension into the bar. And then I'm pulling myself, driving myself into the ground and driving my shoulders away from the ground into the ceiling. Okay, so it's two different motions. I'm pushing and driving this up at one time, and that's what's going to create the tension and drive the bar off the ground, what people will call the wedge. All right, so when I do this, to actually break it off the floor, the position I want to be in is going to be, essentially, it's going to be really your scapula being over the bar. So a lot of people will talk about shoulders, but a lot of times that ends up being way too far back. I actually want to be a little more over the bar, so my lats are over it, and that's going to be the best path for me to really drive through and have that lat tension drive the bar off the ground. All right, so I'll show you what happens if we go too low or too far back, sit into it a little too much, and being too far forward. So if we sit into it too much, which is a big issue for a lot of people, you'll see my whole center of mass is behind the bar. So they think they're gonna use more quads doing this, but what ends up happening, for me to really clear that bar, I'm gonna have to get tipped forward and then come up this way. So you'll see that's a huge issue. The hips shoot up and then they go this way. So on the flip side, if I'm too far over the bar, my hips are too high, and you see like where my scapula lines up, it's kind of lining up straight, a couple inches in front of the bar. When I try to pull, it's gonna be all hamstrings, lower back, the bar's just gonna be a little bit too far in front of me, okay? Or my center of mass is gonna be a little bit too far in front of the bar. So again, if we're going through that setup, creating tension, coming down, finding fingertips, tension into the bar, driving my feet to the ground, driving my chest through, and then it's a clean bar pass, lat over the bar, here. One little cue with that too is, and I've talked about this before with lats, is a lot of people will try to really pull back this way. I really want to just keep my arms long, like straps, okay? So they're not really doing anything. I'm just trying to hold this tight, grip the bar, and have my whole body be what's creating this tension. My legs into the ground, torso through, and that should drive the bar off the ground.